Cindy, welcome, Chloe. The perfect late night live. What is going on? Sorry you had to dip earlier. These children aren't back to their routine yet post Christmas. It's okay, none of us are back to our routine yet. Welcome everybody, welcome. Really, I'm really just okay, so I have a confession. The last time I came on here, I said it was a test, and I ended up doing a full scale live. So I need to fix this really quick. The reason why I came on is because my channel recently got monetized. So I'm just testing out the perks. Let me fix this really quick. Oh my god. What's up, Whitney? All right, let me fix this really quick. Is this it? There you go. Thank you. So I'm really just testing it out, but while we're here, we might as well kind of carry on with it. So, what has happened today in the world of D4VD? So, it looks like a lot has happened, right? So, if you guys have been living under a rock, oh, Whitney, what? Ooh, look at that. That's a pretty cool one. Well, Whitney, thank you for your $1 super chat. So, okay, I gotta delete this. What is Stream Elements talking about? Let me see. What is going on here? All right, so just in case you guys have been living under a rock, what has been going on today in the world of D4VD? It looks like TMZ came out with an article that said David is likely to be indicted in the murder case of Cindy. Oh, Cindy, thank you so much for your $10 super chat. I really appreciate it, you guys. It is, what time is it over here? It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I know it's what, 4 o'clock in the morning over there where you're at, Cindy and Whitney. Chloe, you're on my time, so you're up same time as us. You still got a few hours left. But anyways, what has happened? Actually, let me take us to TMZ really quick because TMZ came out with an article at 10 o'clock in the morning. Basically says, actually, a lot has actually happened today. Let's go ahead and try to find this because D4VD is likely to be indicted on these charges, according to an article that TMZ put out. So let's look for this really quick. D4VD. All right, you guys. So it says David is likely to be indicted in the Celeste Rivas murder case. So this article came out at 10 o'clock in the morning. And basically said that singer David will likely face murder charges for the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and that's because a grand jury that's hearing the case will be asked to hand down an indictment, sources tell TMZ. Cat's here. Hey, how's it going? Welcome. Chloe, thank you. We're working hard on that, right? We're working hard. So it's been a while since I've been able to come on live. It's probably been about like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days or so, but just been busy with the work, obviously the holidays. Went to go visit my parents and hung out with them for the weekend. So I decided that, I'm going to lay off the social media and just kind of hang out with my parents. So spent the weekend with them. Christmas was great. Opened a lot of gifts. So how was everybody else's? The chat says you're monetized. Yeah, definitely. I just got monetized today, you guys. So I was really just kind of up, setting all this up. And yeah, so I don't know. I haven't really come up. Well, kind of came up with a potential name for our community, right? And right now the whole membership stuff is clearing right now. So, Cindy, I love you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. You guys have been with me since day one. I really appreciate it. And again, thank you for your $10 super chat. And Whitney and Cindy, you guys are my first donations. So I appreciate you guys. You guys are I'm never gonna forget it, y'all. But yeah, let's kind of get back to this, right? I was saying earlier that I did kind of come up with a community name, but I'm gonna wait to see if YouTube approves everything. So, um, yeah, I'm potentially thinking about calling us the Inner Circle, y'all. So if you guys want to join the Inner Circle, you guys gotta wait for this whole membership stuff to get approved because I don't know how this works. Kat says, I have 11 roommates and we all hung out for the holiday, did a puzzle, aw, and had hot chocolate saying random songs from the 90s, 2000s. It was cute. I want to know what your favorite song was that you sang, though. What was your favorite song? And I hope it wasn't a David song. Please don't let it be a David song. Anyways, let's continue with this and I'll read your comment, Cats. I'm looking forward to see what song you sang. So it says that there was a report last month that the grand jury was an investigative grand jury and a grand jury that helps authorities gather evidence, but one that does not indict. An investigative grand jury can be helpful, can be useful to subpoena and then force uncooperative witnesses to testify. So here you guys can see this is a photo of David and Celeste. They are in this photo, I believe they're at a 19th birthday party for a friend named Noor. Okay. That's not good. That was a pop-up. Oh, where'd it go? Uh-oh. Sorry, y'all. I don't know what that was. Bubble Toes by Jack Johnson. I might have to go and look that song up because I don't know if I know it. And don't hate me if I don't know it. When you worked for Christmas, I'm sorry. I mean, well, you made overtime, so it's worth it. All right, let's get back to this, you guys. Let's get back. So our sources say, however, the grand jury that has been hearing witnesses in the Celeste Rivas murder, notice how they're calling it a murder, is actually one that will vote on indictments. So this is something that's new, right? I know previously in different articles that we've seen or that we've read or watched, they've been saying that this particular grand jury does not have the power to indict. So something must have happened, or maybe some of the stuff that's been coming out hasn't been really everything that we've known it to be. Sasha, hey, welcome UK. How's it going? Is it morning time over there? What time is it over there in the UK? So let's see. It says our sources say, however, the grand jury that has been hearing witnesses in the Celeste Rivas murder is actually one that will vote on indictments. And multiple sources tell TMZ that authorities, including prosecutor Beth Silverman, believe David was involved in the death of Rivas. So, TMZ broke the story earlier that this month, David's day-to-day manager, Rob Morganroth Jr., testified for days, and I believe it was a total of 3 days, if I'm not mistaken, right? And apparently that is way longer than it needs to take, according to a source that I spoke with earlier, Chloe, wink, wink. No, but it says that TMZ reporter heard Morgan Roth tell his lawyer in the courtroom hallway that Silverman was very pushy as to why he didn't call the police. Now, that part right there is highlighted in red, and I'm really kind of curious, what does that actually mean, right? Why didn't he call the police? Because of what? Was it because he didn't call the police because he discovered the body? He didn't call the police because he didn't want to report that there was an underage relationship taking place, right? What was he talking about? He said that he responded by saying it wasn't his responsibility and his job was to make sure David's tour kept going. Yeah, I feel like that's what any punk would say, right? Anybody who's helping try to cover up and hide secrets. Look at this guy. Guy's probably got a lot of money. And I believe this photo was taken at Josh Marshall's wedding, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you, my 605. I appreciate you. Military Ma, good evening or early morning. What time is it where you're at? Cassier, yeah, I did hear that. Beth Silverman is the sniper. Apparently, she's had a few high-profile cases where she was able to put some people away, and one of the most notable ones was what is it? The Grim Sleeper. So apparently, this person kind of went on a 14-year hiatus from what is it, 1988 to I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I was looking at Trapmore's video a couple hours ago, and he was talking about it. But grand juries generally do what prosecutors want, in no small part because the target, in this case D4VD, has no right to present a defense. There was also talk in the courtroom hallway that the grand jury could hear witnesses in February, so don't expect a quick indictment. So earlier, I seen a video, and let me just make sure that I pull this video up before I play it. It's a video that LA Magazine posted with Lauren Conlin. I gotta pull this up because I was not prepared for this. With LA Magazine. Let's see, let me just click this. We're gonna open this up. Maybe it's a short. I think it's a short. Okay, here we go. So LA Magazine put this video out with Lauren Conlin, and basically she's talking about just, giving us a quick update on what she's heard, and then she's also confirming a few sources. A little bit of Catsier said, I don't like that some YouTubers are saying what he was saying that about, as if they know, like, I didn't call the cops about because of the tour, right? That is not pure info, bad reporting. No, absolutely. I think everybody's just kind of curious, right? What was it about? Obviously, none of us really know, right? But we do know that he was in there for 3 days, 3 whole days getting grilled and being asked questions by none other than the sniper. So, very curious about, what they were talking to him about. And apparently, um, you know, as a witness being called in to testify in the grand jury, right? He's obviously not viewed as a suspect, or at least we don't believe he is. So, kind of curious what information he may have given up, right? Let's check out this video from Lauren Conlin earlier today.
Hope in the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case, as TMZ has sources, and I have also independently confirmed with the source that the LADA's office might be one step closer in issuing an indictment in the homicide of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and that indictment might actually be for David himself. This is not going to happen anytime soon, as they do reportedly have witnesses slated for February.
What's up?
But if you remember that when it was first reported that a grand jury was convening, we were under the impression it was an investigative grand jury that couldn't result in charges or indictments, just subpoenas. Well, I had Mark Garagos on the LA Magazine live stream a few weeks ago, and he said, Lauren, I don't think it matters at this point what kind of grand jury it is. This case is so secretive. This could end up in an indictment. We just don't know yet. It really doesn't matter at this point. And he was right. So again, it may not happen anytime soon, but these sources are saying that we're getting closer. And yes, evidence and eyes are pointing to David. So read all the details on lamagazine.com and follow us here for more updates on this truly heartbreaking case.
So, what are you guys' thoughts? So, she mentioned that they have witnesses lined up all throughout February. So, I feel like this is probably going to be a slow, arduous process, right? Um, I'm not quite sure how often they're um, interviewing these witnesses, but apparently there's hundreds of people who are coming in to testify, and no one knows exactly who's kind of coming to testify. I know that, well, I don't know anything about this case, but I do know that SF Investigates has testified and Rob Morganroth. Those are the only 2 names that I have heard so far. Anybody else hear anything else? Because I'm very curious. 9:30 over there in the UK. Well, hello from across the pond. Military Ma, you're in the same time zone. PST. Are you in Cali? So Cats here says apparently Silverman goes for all the culprits, so I have high hopes. I'm curious, how many culprits do you think we're looking at here? I've heard numbers like 4, I've heard 8, I've heard the whole team. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure how many people we're looking at, right? I'm curious if Asia Collins, has come in for questioning. We know that she's been actually very active on social media, and we do have her page right over here. So, and I feel like some of the posts that she's been putting up has been kind of trolling, right? So we know that Asia Collins is now, her handle's changed to Princess Mononoke 26. And let's kind of take a look at some of the TikToks that she's posted. Oh God, hold on. How do I turn this sound off? I do not want to get copywritten. I don't know if this is okay. So she's singing a song. I guess the song's called Re or not. I don't know. Actually, let's just play it. If I get copyright strike. So some of the comments here, you guys probably can't see it because of the comments, but one of the comments says, "When are they arresting you, baby?" Then it says, "I hope you never find peace, Asia. You knew, and that's bad enough." Mark, come on, Mark. Really? Mark, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Aw. Yay, you guys. Celebration. Celebrate, celebrate. All right. Damn. Y'all make me so happy. I appreciate you guys. What a way to bring in the new day. But Asia is out here trolling you guys. What do you guys think of this? What are you guys thinking? You guys think that she's taking shots at David, or she's just, returning back to normal routine?
And for my final act of love, you will never hear from me ever again. Thank you. And for my final act of love, you will never hear from me ever again. Thank you. And for
Okay, so Asia's kind of gotten back to her normal posting on social media. This was her TikTok. I don't follow her on either. But yeah, so it looks like she's back, and I do want to bring up another video because News Nation came out and posted a new video today and mentioned that they found more things inside the mansion. So I gotta find this again because wasn't prepared for. Oh, here it is. Okay. So Brian Enton had an interview today on News Nation, and he interviewed SF Investigates, a private investigator, Steve Fisher, that was hired by the landlord or the homeowner of the Hollywood Hills mansion. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video and see what they're talking about now.
Police popped the trunk of a Tesla that was found abandoned in the Hollywood Hills and discovered the dismembered body of teenage runaway Celeste Rivas Hernandez. There has been a ton of speculation. There has been a ton of suspicion, and all of it has centered around the singer named David. It's pronounced David, but it's spelled with a 4. You can see right down there on your screen. The Tesla was his, and Celeste was his underage girlfriend, and he has not been seen in public since his world tour.
Sasha, thank you for your $19.99. Is that 19 pounds? Oh, damn, that is so crazy. Thank you for your what is that, a super chat? Is that what, it doesn't say anything. Super chat, there you go. 19.99 super chat. Thank you so much. You are amazing. You are the reason why I keep doing this. So thank you so much. Oh, we're just celebrating out here. I appreciate it, you guys. We're gonna give you guys a round of applause. Woohoo! Thank you. Let's get back to Brian Enton.
Or it was abruptly scrapped. He hasn't said a word in public about any of this. And now comes a new bombshell report from TMZ that David will likely face charges early in the new year. They and also us, we have reported on a grand jury that's secretly been happening. There's been these hearings with evidence. They've been going on for weeks. And TMZ says the prosecutor in charge believes that David did have a hand in his girlfriend's death. This has been ongoing, and there's been so many different moving pieces to all.
So I want you guys to pay attention to exactly what Brian Enton said, right? So I'm gonna rewind this just a little bit, right? And we've all kind of been careful to kind of watch what we say. But again, Trevor Ross said it too. News Nation, pretty reputable media source, has come out and blatantly said that this is his girlfriend. So let's run this back really quick. Make sure you guys catch that. Don't miss it.
Hearings with evidence. They've been going on for weeks. And TMZ says the prosecutor in charge believes that David did have a hand in his girlfriend's
In his
death. This
girlfriend's
has been
death.
ongoing. And
So now mainstream media, I'm going to consider News Nation mainstream media because they're on YouTube, and I feel like that's where everybody goes to kind of get their news nowadays, right? Who really watches mainstream media. So they are now referring to Celeste Rivas Hernandez as his girlfriend. That's pretty wild. This is the first time that I've actually heard it intentionally called this relationship. So I don't know, kind of trips me out to hear. And I'm wondering if anybody else is going to pick up on that and start running with it too.
there's been so many different moving pieces to all of it. I'm joined once again by veteran private investigator Steve Fisher, who has been on this story really since almost the very beginning, uncovered a ton of leads, clues, evidence, been in Los Angeles, breaking new developments all along.
Did
So,
TMZ
Steve,
say murder?
it's,
They
it's
sure
good
did.
to see you tonight. You were hired by the owner of the home that David was renting, and you actually went inside the home. What sort of was there any potential evidence? Did you see anything
agree with
that
you,
really
Cats,
stood
here.
out to you?
Yeah, well, so we announced previously that we found a burn cage incinerator there for one. And another thing I can tell you tonight is that along with that, we found a chainsaw.
And before we continue, I want to say that I've noticed that it feels like it's every Monday or Tuesday where TMZ will drop an article about this to ensure that none of us forget that they're still around, right? And then a few hours later, SF Investigates will come in and drop a little tidbit here and there too. So he's gonna spread or drop a little breadcrumb for us to pick up on, right?
Brand new. It was with the incinerator. And there's no purpose for a chainsaw to be at this rental house. They're certainly not in charge of, trimming the trees or anything. So, we can't say exactly, it was unused, just like the incinerator, but I think, it could go to show some intent of what this plan was, because whatever happened here, like this was, it wasn't a finalized plan. She was not meant to be left in that Tesla on Bluebird Avenue. And so, the plan got upended.
Yeah, and I want to ask you about the burn box in a second. I think that's what you burn. Is that what you called it? A burn box?
Burn cage.
Burn cage. Yeah. Okay. But first of all, I want to get to the chainsaw, because I don't think I've heard that before, that there was a chainsaw inside the home. Where was it?
It was in the garage, and it had not been used. It still had the protective shield over the chain itself. But there it is with a burn cage, and you got to wonder what this plan was, or what the plan could have been, and it's troubling, because there's really no, just like the burn cage, there's no purpose for that house,
So the chainsaw,
I
he
totally
was
agree
renting
with
the
you,
house,
Cindy.
correct? Because it's the owner who hired you.
Yeah, actually, he wasn't. It was Josh Marshall, his manager. The owner, one of the reasons I got hired is because the owner was trying to figure this out. He didn't know who David was. He had never heard of David before. He thought Josh Marshall was living in the house with his family.
And did the owner?
David is guilty. And again, I love your screen name because I think he is too. But that's my opinion. How does this second suspect come into play? That's a great question. I feel like the only thing that we know so far is that, well, TMZ did report that the suspect is involved before, during, and after the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So I'm really curious. How does that work too? What was their level of involvement? That's your favorite screen name, Katsier? David is guilty. I love it. And to be honest with you, I really, 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 really hope deep down inside that it's not David trolling on the other side. Because we've seen you in a few lives, David is guilty, and you've been pretty cool so far. So, you know, hope you're not David.
Confirm that the chainsaw was not his?
Yes, it's definitely not the owners. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I mean, I've rented a lot of houses, you know, why you would have a chainsaw in the middle of LA when you're renting a house. I'm just trying to think of like a reason for that. It seems kind of strange.
Yeah, it is strange because I mean, first of all, to use a chainsaw takes a little bit of training, not to hurt yourself. And listen, they're not responsible for any of that. You know, taking care of the, outside the property or anything. So, what is the purpose? And then when you couple it with not just the incinerator, but now a deceased 14-year-old in a Tesla that's been parked at that property, it becomes really troubling. And hopefully there's going to be some justice here soon. It's been going on a long time.
Yeah, it seems like it's really dragged on. In terms of the burn cage, I'm not really familiar with that. What is it? Describe to me, like, what is a burn cage?
So it's literally it's a steel cage that it can withstand temperatures up to 1,600 degrees, and they're used a lot on like farms to incinerate everything from trash to animals, and to break everything down. And it actually, the advertising on it is, if you go to your YouTube page, it says burns at 1,600 degrees. Well, when human cremations are done at 1,400 degrees. So this has the ability to literally cremate a person if you wanted to, and makes you wonder what the intent was.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download.
All right, Cuomo. Slow down, Turbo. So for any of you guys who have been living under a rock, the burn cage that he's referring to is the one that SF Investigates found inside the home of the mansion. He posted this on the 16th, so a little over almost 2 weeks ago. I mean, this was kind of, I feel like, everybody online has kind of been speculating that this may have been something that was in the mansion, and I don't know where inside the house this is. Could be somewhere inside the house, maybe in the garage. I'm guessing, judging by the tile, that it's probably somewhere in the house. Now, this was found. The chainsaw was found. And we know previously that SF Investigates was saying that there were things to use in conjunction with the burn cage. So we know from reports that Celeste Rivas has been dismembered, right? The level or the extent of her dismemberment is, it's not open to the public. None of us have the details about it. Some say that she was cut into pieces and placed into 3 different bags. Some sources say that she wasn't decapitated. Some sources say that she is. So it still seems that there's still a bit of a disagreement or a misunderstanding between the ME's office and the LAPD. And we're just kind of all waiting in the wind just to kind of see when we're going to get an update, but it doesn't seem like we're going to get one anytime soon. Obviously, like Lauren Conlon mentioned earlier, we're expected to see a ton more witnesses lined up to testify all throughout February. And can you guys believe that we're not even in January yet, and we still have? I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I saw Mark's comment. Jake, he spelled it with a 4. All right, David, if you are not David and your name is Jake, I'll approve that message. Good one, Jake. Jake, I'm gonna remember that, Jake. Now there's a name to this screen name. Looks open to me. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that because of all the tape, that maybe this was opened at some point, right? But I don't know. It's weird that LAPD didn't pick it up or didn't find any importance to it. Cassier, from what SF Investigates mentioned, he said that they didn't. But you know what? Maybe the LAPD opened it up, took a look, noticed that it wasn't even used, and decided maybe it wasn't important, or maybe it just wasn't within their warrant for them to obtain. So, what are you wearing, Jake? From State Farm? That's where it's from, right, Cindy? Please tell me I'm right. You know, I'm gonna feel dumb if it's not. Cats here said literally, I don't know why everyone says it's closed. Can you imagine receiving a package looking like that? No, actually, I'd return it, right? I think SF even said that it was signed for, even though it was delivered under a false name. So why would you have accepted it if it didn't belong to you? That part was weird to me. It was a little weird, not gonna lie. I thought it was weird. Maybe they didn't pick it up because they knew it had no relevance since they had an idea about how Celeste died, and SF has no clue. Chloe. Really close. No, I totally agree, to be honest with you. Who knows? Maybe they were just going to use it to burn leaves and make s'mores. I don't know. But I do find this whole situation just really, really weird. A burn cage, chainsaw. I mean, what are they going to tell us they found next? There was a barrel there. There was some sulfuric acid. You know, SF Investigates did mention very clearly in one of his interviews that they had plans to evaporate her. Now, did he mean that they were going to use the incinerator to practically cremate her, or were they going to take some of her remains and, you know, put her in some sort of acid and literally make her evaporate that way? I don't know. Yeah, okay, good. Whew. It is State Farm. Good. I don't know my commercials really well, so that was just a wild guess. David said it's odd that we will hear nothing, then out of nowhere it starts blowing up again. Isn't it weird? I think, yeah, it really is weird that, you know, it kind of goes quiet for a week or two, and then on a Monday or a Tuesday, you'll hear TMZ drop a clue, then it becomes major headlines, and then everybody is reporting on it. Did he really? How the heck did he claim to know their plans? Legitimately asking, not even just being sarcastic. You know, that's a great question, Chloe, because I don't think any of us really know what the plans were. It really beats me because, you know, I wonder how many times SF Investigates has been to that house, collected evidence, thought about what he was going to do, thought about how he was going to throw his breadcrumbs out there and see what chronological order I'm going to release this information. But also, again, I'm curious, right? If he knew that there was a chainsaw there, right? And the burn cage, why not come out and put all of that information out at the same time? Like, why do you have to, you know, tell us one item at a time? We have burn cage 2 weeks ago. Now, 2 weeks later, we got a chainsaw. So I feel like, are we going to wait till mid-January for him to tell us that, you know, there were garden snippers or something? I don't know. Burning in California is illegal. Absolutely, right? Mark said, I can't wait to see what the DA has for evidence. I'm really curious, right? Obviously, that Tesla, I'm hoping, you know, that Tesla has a ton of footage. Maybe not audio, but hopefully a ton of footage. Hopefully that Tesla had enough battery to record, or it had that thumb drive in there, so then that way everything could be recorded. I'm curious. Okay, 2 questions for you guys. What is the timeline that you guys think that Celeste may have been unalived, right? That's question number 1. And then number 2, what do you think the significance of Santa Barbara holds? Because deep down in my heart, and you guys have heard me talk about this before, I am strongly sticking to the early January theory. What do you guys think about that? David is guilty. He said, I've seen some people talking about the death penalty. I'll be shocked if he even gets life. Oh, we're gonna have to see, what the prosecutor has on him, and then how the defense plays this one. Um, we're dealing with two colossal attorneys here, right? We got Blair Burke on the defense, and then we have Beth Silverman, aka the Sniper. So, yeah, I'm really curious what we have in front of us. Cassier says, my thought, SF is out there doing the good work, in my humble opinion. Drip feeding to keep Celeste in the algorithm and collective consciousness. Genius. Close said, next, SF will tell us that there were knives in the cutlery drawer inside the home. Okay, I'm done, I promise. Unless you bring it up again, Flo. Cassier says, I think it was planned for Valentine's Day. Ah. Well, that is pretty crazy, right? I want to take us back to, let me find this one. Zach Singh. And I want to watch the first few minutes of this interview because he does say something very specific. D4VD. Hold on. Let me bring this over here really quick. Oops.
Become a myth? Like, I don't want to like, oh, that's David. Like, he doesn't ever work with people.
Okay, so I want to listen to this, right? Because a lot of the stuff that he says in this interview, I feel are very important. And a lot of the things that I've been doing since this case has kind of gone quiet is I've been going back and looking at a lot of the interviews that he's had, rewatching a lot of the Law and Crime videos, the Nancy Graces, the Ashley Banfield interviews, and kind of been taking in some of the things that have been said. And so with that, I've also been going back and listening to some of his interviews because I feel like, the more days that kind of go by, we kind of have to brush ourselves up with what we've already learned in the past and see what makes sense and what doesn't, right? So let's start this video over again and kind of watch
like beyond many times.
this video.
You're really special.
Thank you.
And yeah,
He's
we have a
really
lot
not.
to discuss. Everybody say hello to D4VD. D4VD.
D4VD.
David.
I love that. I love that.
How
I love
many
that.
ways have you heard people pronounce your name over the years?
D4VD, DV4D, D4VD.
But it is
David.
Right?
Dave.
It is David.
Like, yeah, it is David.
It's
But I'm kind of owning the D4VD thing now. Like, a lot of people are calling me that. So I'm like, it might just be the word.
wait, look, I mean, we've been saying it for a long time, but mainly as a joke. And my greatest fear came true, which is I just casually said it. And I didn't really intentionally want to do that.
That's so funny.
The forward, it just flows nicely.
Right? D4VD.
It just feels good.
D4VD. Yeah.
You really are a special human
guy's really
being.
full
though.
of
We have an
himself.
entire album to discuss. And are you withered, man? Like, what's up?
Like, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now.
Genuinely?
Returning, well, figuratively.
And just FYI too, Mark said it. We no longer call him David in this chat. We do call him Diva.
Spiritually, that's like, I want to dive into this album as my entire
D4VD.
aesthetic and my entire being is like
I don't know how I
withered.
like
My
that.
entire being.
What does it mean to be
D4VD.
withered?
So the entire aesthetic of this project is returning to the dust. A rose grows from the dirt and then it also decays back into the dirt. So with this project, the way I made it, the way I'm talking about the themes on this project, the way I'm talking about my emotions and my feelings, it's all returning to the dirt with this. It's like a entire life cycle. you know?
Okay. And in a life cycle that connects to the other.
Jake, you're gonna have to explain because I want to know exactly what withered means too.
EPs, possibly Petals to Thorns, and then the Lost Petals.
Yep. It's all a through line. So basically with Petals to Thorns, I view that as my introduction. That was my debut, And then with the Lost Petals, it's kind of continuation of that story. And then this is like the ending of it. So people use their debut sometimes to be like, oh, this is me and this is me and my art. But this is like the closing of a chapter, especially for like my main fans and even for the new people that's coming in. They can recontextualize my music with the previous project. So it's a good way for everybody to get into it.
By listening it all together.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's go through what that life cycle means. So at what stage of the withered is dying? So you're going into dust, but you're coming back again. Is that what I'm getting through those
Right.
14 records?
It's definitely like a resurrection type of thing. So, but by the end of the project, it's done. So that's why the last track is called Afterlife. That's like the final blow,
How long did it take you to come up with this? Because when you were on our show 2 years ago, you said you had something in the works, but you ended up getting rid of those records?
Yeah, it was like an interesting thing because when I talked to you about that, it was like I had a very clear vision, but then I had lived not that much life, you know? And then I went on all these tours, and I went on tour with SZA, and I was meeting this person and this producer and that artist and this, like, and I was just getting lost in the sauce, and I had to kind of take a few steps back. So the first couple projects that I made, a couple iterations of Withered, one was like an R.
It's weird because he's talking about how he created Withered, right? And he's about to tell you right now that he made like 2 or 3 different versions of the album. And I feel like, you know, if you really kind of take that out of context, it's like the songs that he already created for this album didn't really fit the lifestyle that was being lived.
R&B project, one was like a pop project, and nothing really felt like me. So I kind of had to bring it back with this last one. I gave it one more shot.
Military
Was it all
Ma.
titled Withered throughout that, or
I don't think anybody knows where he is at this point. I feel like there's a few places that he could be. Maybe he's out here in LA, right? I'm from LA, so maybe he's out here hiding. Some people think that he's back in Texas. I've heard maybe he's even what's it called? Maybe he's in Australia. I've heard Puerto Rico. You know, there's a million and one theories as to where he is. Yashoda, welcome. And Katsier, no, actually, I haven't. And to be honest with you, I can't even pronounce that thing. Marcisense, is that how you say it? I'm gonna have to like chat GPT it or something. But let's look that up. All right, this is an AI overview, right? So don't take this as word, because I heard you're not supposed to Google things and not supposed to take it for word. But marcescence is the phenomenon where some deciduous trees like oaks and beeches retain their dead brown leaves through the winter instead of dropping them in autumn, holding on to them until new growth appears in spring. Damn. Acting as protection for buds from browsing animals and frost while providing natural mulch. What it is, botanical process where an episode later. Okay. That's really weird. So he was that's so weird. Wow. Marcescence is the phenomenon where some deciduous trees like the oaks and beeches retain their dead brown leaves through the winter. That's so crazy to read right now. Instead of dropping them in autumn, holding onto them until new growth appears in the spring. Sorry to I'm just kind of taken aback reading that. Marcescence. That's really weird, you know, if you kind of think about it. Because that whole and Withered is supposed to be his actual life, right? That's really weird to read. Sorry, you guys. That really tripped me out. Who was that? Was that you, Katsier? Wow. Yeah, that was really crazy. And you know what? I never even thought to look that up. But it's probably just because I couldn't pronounce it. That's really weird though to read.
Nah,
No.
like there was a concept and there was a story there that I wanted to continue, but there was no name and there was no like theme of the songs, and you know, because I'm writing at this point about myself and my emotions and my vulnerability, and I wasn't doing that a lot last, couple projects because I was homeschooled, you know.
yeah, you were living a different life.
Yeah, I didn't have nothing to talk about like that, and people were asking me, "How'd you write all these beautiful songs when you have no relationship?" I was like, "Man, I'm a prophet, bro. I just spoke it into my own life." Like
He's a prophet, you guys.
Yeah.
A prophet.
But, okay, happy 20th birthday.
Okay, so hold on. So he said happy 20th birthday, right? This video was uploaded on April 28th, exactly a month after his birthday. meaning that this had to have been filmed, right? He said happy belated. So I'm assuming his birthday's on March 28th. So this had to have been shot, I don't know, anywhere between March 28th and April 28th. I'm assuming because he said a couple days later. Maybe it was the 30th.
Thank you.
You literally
Crazy.
But okay,
I was like, man, I'm a prophet, bro. I just spoke it into my own life.
Get
like,
out
you know,
of here.
crazy.
But okay, happy 20th birthday.
Thank you.
You literally the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so literally the other day. So maybe this was filmed earlier in March, maybe 2-3 days before, maybe the 23rd, 4th, or 5th.
Just turned 20. You
Just
are
turned 20.
you're technically out of teen years, but you're still like a kid.
Yeah, literally, man. I be going to arcades. I be going to Chuck E. Cheese. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, rumor has it Chuck E. is actually opening an arcade, like an arcade version of Chuck E. Cheese, like in a mall.
For real?
Yeah, I saw it on TikTok.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's game changing, actually.
It is game changing.
Wow.
Anywho, back to you. Life is an understatement that has lived in the last 2 years because if I remember correctly, you hadn't even performed live when we first met.
That's insane to think about. Man.
And you've been on 2 headlining tours. You opened for SZA. Like
4 headlines, actually.
Holy fuck,
Actually,
sorry.
1, 2, 5. Holy balls.
Damn.
5.
But in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you also released, which I think it's really crazy that your fans are so.
And Jake, you brought up a really great point. Let me just really pause that really quick. And I don't know if you guys can see that right there, but October 1st was supposed to be his very first day of his European leg of the tour. And that very... I get it now. It all makes sense. Asia was totally trolling David that she's in Oslo, Norway, knowing damn well that he wasn't able to make it. Oh, wow. I believe that him being on tour when the body would be discovered made him feel that he had an alibi, and if it had been found, it would set off all the rumors that he was being framed. Whitney, you see that? Damn. Watch out for the false prophets. That's crazy, though, that you brought that up. That she was in Oslo, Norway, and I didn't even realize that. And I think what we're learning now is that you have to really pay attention to everything that Asia is posting, because I feel like subliminally they're taking shots, or she's taking shots at David. Maybe, sending him a subliminal message. Where are we at? Wrong one.
So adamant on you having an album. You've released 40 singles.
Dude, I'm out. I'm out there. Definitely out there. It's so funny because I be seeing the TikTok like, drop. Why don't you drop? And it's like, just go to my.
Are you kidding?
I've been dropping, bro.
There's 40 songs.
Yeah.
So, okay. How does life change? Like, how does your daily outlook change from the last time we met? Because even hitting the road and living that life.
Yeah.
And definitely, like, I don't know. I don't know if you started in vans or I don't think so. I would assume you went right to the bus.
We went straight
life.
to the bus.
That's sick.
Straight to the bus. God bless. Yeah.
Mark, that's a great point. I wonder if Asia has spilled the tea. It's hard to not wonder the same thing, right? Stoic. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. One time for the one time. That's right, you guys. We are finally monetized, but we're still waiting for our memberships to get approved. So hang tight, you guys. The inner circle will arrive soon, and I'm hoping that, some of you guys will consider joining the inner circle. So maybe in a couple of days we'll have our membership up. And, if you guys feel like you guys would want to join, you guys can join. But in the meantime, if you guys can do me a favor, hit that like button on that video. All it does is help me with the algorithm and gets my video out there, so other people can see this stuff. I think people, need to see this stuff, right? You guys in the chat are putting together some really, really good points. And Jake, if you never would have pointed that out, I don't think we would have noticed that. And now it makes me just want to kind of keep an eye on Asia's movement a little bit more, so she's definitely taking shots now. So we got to keep watching.
truly God bless.
Absolutely.
Because life is different in the back of a white creeper van, dude.
with the barred window.
Yeah, bro, it is not okay.
That's crazy, yeah.
Can you explain how your daily outlook and like just the way you perceive life now changes from that experience?
I mean, it's definitely very, very euphoric, and it doesn't feel real to be like, on tour and to have such an ability to travel like that,
Truly God bless.
and to be able to see the
Because
fans
life is
face to
different
face
in
in
the
real
back
time
of
and be able
a
to feel that emotion
white
and that
creeper
connection
van,
to them.
dude.
It's just like you
With
don't
the
believe
barred
it.
window. Yeah, bro, it is not okay.
Whoa. Sorry, you guys.
And it's so hard to process that. Like that to me is bigger than, getting a viral song. Like you really have people sitting in this room that bought tickets to your show that's really screaming every word. Like that's insane.
Like, think about that as like an internet kid, like
Right.
somebody who spends so much time playing video games behind a screen.
Yeah.
Like all these people that, they exist in this digital universe now exist
in real life.
Yeah.
And who was it? Was it Jake that mentioned that? Let me just play this short really quick because this is where I got that quote from that you just dropped in the comments.
Christie famously said, "One coincidence is just a coincidence. 2 coincidences are a clue, and 3 coincidences are proof." So let's talk about the coincidences in the case of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, found dead in the trunk of singer David's abandoned Tesla. Her mother confirms that she had a boyfriend named David. David wrote an unreleased song titled Celeste. Both David and Celeste have a tattoo, same exact one.
So Yashoda, exactly what you just said, right? That could be members of his entourage who told cops that they believe she was 19 to avoid being complicit to a betting relationship with a minor.
Of the word shh on their right index fingers. Now, although David lived in Los Angeles, there is a photo of him less than a half a mile from the home that Celeste ran away from.
100%
And in his music
Cassie.
video for his song One More Dance, which was released just in February, David is dragging a body and hiding it in a trunk. So are all those coincidences a proof, as Agatha Christie calls it? Well, TMZ is reporting that friends of David's have confirmed to them that David and Celeste.
So listen to what she says. She says that friends of David have confirmed to them.
Friends of David's have confirmed to them that David and Celeste were in fact in a romantic relationship. And these friends also say to TMZ that they thought that she was 19. Nope. How about 14?
Yep.
She was 14 when she was killed. That is a minor child. And it's possible that she met David when she was even younger than that, possibly 12 or 13. Now, just based on that information alone, David Burke better hire a very good lawyer.
And we know that, since this video has come out, he's hired a high-profile attorney, Blair Burke.
And if he killed Celeste Rivas Hernandez, or if he hid her dead body in his Tesla, he better pray that Johnny Cochran and F. Lee Bailey come back from the dead, because he is gonna need them. That's my opening statement. Let me know if you like it. Right now, it's time for your daily docket. Agatha.
That was powerful. I really like that. Sorry, I just got a text message. People texting me at 2 o'clock in the morning. Sorry, y'all. Where are we at? Just got distracted by a text message. Where is it? Oh, I want to show you guys this picture too, but we'll show it to you in a bit. This interview. Let's get back to this.
That's crazy, bro. Like you're supposed to be a comment. Like you're a comment, bro. You're a like. That's crazy. You're really like real. It's so fire. I love them so much. Yeah.
It's amazing.
So cool.
So does it change the way you make art? Yes, obviously. It's how we got to Withered, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like in the process of, getting outside my house and exploring the world and finding friends, losing friends, finding relationships, losing relationships. It's just everything has kind of been shaping and leading up to this project in such a domino effect way, you know?
Like just living life and it feeling.
This album is my life. Like Withered is my life. Petals of Thorns and Lost Petals are what I wanted my life to be, and then Withered is my life.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So where do they
All
align
right, you
at
guys,
all?
you guys
They
hear that?
do indeed, because like I said, I kind of felt like
Hold on.
Life and it feeling.
this album is my life. Like Withered is my life.
Sorry, y'all. You guys
Petals
can't
of
hear me.
Thorns and
My
Lost
bad.
Petals are what I wanted my life to be, and then Withered is my life.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So where do they align at all?
They do indeed, because like I said, I kind of felt like it was a prophetic thing that I was speaking about heartbreak and
It's kind of weird though that he mentions that. Can you hear me now, Cat's ear? Let me know if you guys can hear me. I turned up my mic a little bit. But so he says Petal to Thorns is really what he wanted his life to be, right? And Withered is now his life. So he's literally living what Withered is. And if you guys have listened to Withered, right, we know that that album has 14 tracks. Very coincidental, right? Because Celeste was 14 years old and the Withered Deluxe album had 15 tracks, right? Funny because she was discovered the day after her 15th birthday. So it's just kind of coincidental, very weird. I don't know. Can't help but think that maybe this was planned all along.
and then Withered is my life.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So where do they align at all?
They do indeed, because like I said, I kind of felt like it was a prophetic thing that I was speaking about heartbreak and love and all these things I had never experienced before, but then I actually experienced them, and it's like, yo, I really said this about myself 2 years ago. It's happening.
But is it what you really expected?
It's weird because I have such a weird view and take on situations like that because I'm always looking for writing material in these types of things. So instead of taking it to the chin, being like, oh my God, like I'm heartbroken, like I go straight to my phone or band lab, go straight to the studio and write about it. I never actually like fully process situations like that because I'm always expecting it to happen, and then as soon as it happens, I'm writing about it. So
you're expecting. Let's break that down.
Yeah.
Because I understand, going immediately to art, as a means of coping.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But you saying expecting it, meaning you get into a friendship expecting it to end in a devastating, tragic, sad way, so it can inspire art. But are you manifesting that in a certain degree?
I don't know. I hope I'm not. I really hope I'm not, because it feels that way. Because I look back to old songs like "Life's a Dream" and all these songs I wrote in my closet or my sister's closet in 2022 when I'm looking at my life in the past 8 to 9 months. I'm like, whoa. Bro, these songs are soundtracking my life. So I hope I'm not involuntarily doing that, but it might be.
Are you kidding me what he just said right now?
Interesting.
But songs, me too, when I'm looking at my life in the past 8 to 9 months, I'm like, whoa. Bro, these songs are soundtracking my life. So I hope I'm not involuntarily doing that, but it might be that way.
He really just said that.
Interesting.
These songs are
say, your family's so
soundtracking
cool.
I know, right?
my life.
Your mom is the reason you your mom is amazing.
She's the GOAT, bro.
You just needed music for your video game videos, and your mom could have come up with another solution, but she was do it yourself. Who just goes figure it out?
Shout out to mom. That's my mom.
That's fucking awesome. And then your sister,
my
closet
sister too. Yeah.
So what part of this album was actually recorded in that closet? Because it.
Hey, good news, you guys. I just got a notification right now that my memberships got approved, but I have no idea how to initiate it. Anyways, back to the video.
Was recorded between L.A., right?
Right. L.A., London. Most of it was in London.
That's
and
right.
The other half in Houston on my phone. So probably 50-50. So half in London, one song in L.A., 2 songs in South Korea and Japan, and then the other half just on my phone. Yeah.
What did you do in South Korea and Japan?
I was on tour in November last year, right before we were supposed to be turning in the project. And I wrote "What Are You Waiting For?" and "Where Did It Go Wrong?" Yeah.
Are you inspired by your environment?
Super. I mean, when I was in Tokyo writing "What Are You Waiting For?", it was just the city moves so fast and there's so many people. I was smack dab in the middle of Shibuya. Everybody's walking. It felt like I was watching a time lapse. And I needed to get some energy out of me. And I got sent this beat the morning of. And I was like, yo, this is the one. So I just like, I'm sitting at the window, just going crazy on van life at the phone, just looking at the environment and just letting it inspire me. It was so beautiful.
That's,
Yeah.
I mean, again, like all of it done mostly on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Who said that? Who said that? Who said that? Cat's here. I really want to see the court case to hear Silverman school him and play clips like this. So, speaking of which, I want to kind of, let's backtrack. Let's kind of take a look at Beth Silverman and how she is. I want to show you guys a video really quick. It's called Prosecutor, the Grim Sleeper Killed 5 More Women. So this is who we have in Celeste Rivas's case. This is going to be the prosecutor that is hopefully going to indict David on murder charges.
In the second phase
Thank
of
you,
the trial,
Chloe.
the penalty phase, which we spent a significant amount of time discussing during jury selection. And as I told you months ago, this is the direction that we've been headed since that time. This portion of the case is about which punishment is
And that is the Grim Sleeper.
appropriate for this defendant. Based on the circumstances of the crimes in this case, the murders, the 10 first-degree murders for which the defendant was convicted, based on who the defendant is, meaning his character, and based on what kind of life this defendant has chosen to live, in comparison with the mitigating circumstances. To hear from various members of her family who are going to fly in from out of state and speak about how her murder impacted them individually and as a family. That includes Tanya Everett, who you heard from at the end of the People's case and guilt phase. You're also going to hear from the children that she left behind, such as Enyata Jackson and Jermaine Jackson, and maybe from one of her grandchildren. She was the second victim that you heard about during the guilt phase of this case. She was 34 at the time of her murder. She also left children behind, and you're going to hear from Rochelle Johnson, her daughter, Willie Bush, her son, and Irene Ephraim, her niece, and they're going to tell you what it was like to grow up without their mother, without their aunt, knowing that she had been brutally murdered.
So what do you guys think? You guys think that David has a chance going up against Beth Silverman? I think she's definitely gonna tear him a new one. She's going to get the death penalty for him and life for his accomplices. That would be crazy. They do call her the sniper, so I am curious to see what she is going to do. What's awful is that until Celeste was found dead, no one noticed she was gone. And you know what? That's the sad thing. I've repeated this many, many times on my show. The fact that he did what he did is so heinous, so horrendous, so horrible, right? The fact that he allegedly killed a 14-year-old girl, right? Placed her in the frunk of his Tesla, went on tour, knowing that he would be able to come back and try to finish off whatever he was doing. He knew he had time because there was nobody looking for her. Nobody was looking for her at all, right? And it's sad. You know, shout outs to the homie Mark the Shark, who's in here as well. You know, we've visited her her memorial, and just to kind of see her memorial in person. I went there on Friday. I went there Friday afternoon, and it was pouring down rain, and it was pretty. Let me see if I can pull up a photo of her memorial really quick. Let me see if I can pull one up. Oh, come on. What's going on here? All right, I'm gonna have to pull it up from my Google Drive because my computer's acting up because I haven't restarted it yet. I might not be able to show you guys. Hold on. Nope. Hold on, y'all. Let me just pull it up over here really quick. What is going on here? Oh, my left monitor is like completely frozen. I can't move anything. Well, that kind of is a bummer. All right, let me just play the. We'll just continue with this interview really quick while I try to figure this out.
Do you feel like you make better music on your phone?
Dude, 100%. 100%.
So why even go into a studio environment?
I do it for the producers and the collaborators. I love, just keeping and building a rapport with the people that I work with. And I don't want to, I don't want to become a myth. Like, I don't want to oh, that's David. Like, he doesn't ever work with people. He doesn't do sessions. Like, don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be, that guy. I want to be, personable and come into the studio, be welcomed into places and work with people. But then I also take songs back from the studio and re-record them on BandLab. So it still gets that nice workflow. But I do prefer working by myself nowadays. Yeah.
And by the way, like producers like Ryan Tedder,
Mm-hmm.
and the truth is, like, if you don't go in and learn with working with these people means you learn.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're bettering yourself, right?
Right. I mean, Ryan Tedder was definitely still is a big mentor for me in just like the songwriting process and how to structure songs, because I came into this thing, man, like with Romantic Homicide, there's no hook and things like that. So he's trying to teach me how to keep that magic, but to still, elevate the music. I mean, even Benny Blanco, the first 4 sessions I had with Benny, we were in Aloe at the studio underground. And then I would pull up, I would be like, yo, let's get to work. I'll pop up on the mic. He'd be like, no, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. And I'll be like, what you mean? He'd pull out earbuds for me and then tell me to pull out BandLab. He exported the beat from his computer to my phone, and then he'd leave. He'd just leave and say, I'll come back in 45 minutes. Show me what you got. And I was like, okay, for sure, fine. And I recorded the song. He came back in, we jammed to it, and he'd leave for, again, another 45 minutes, make something else. Like, that's just, Benny understood it crazy.
But, like, what a sign of a great producer, right? That's to understand the person you're working with, and everybody's going to be different. Like, nobody else is going to work in that way.
Yeah, he's special, bro. It's so cool.
And he adapts to you. That's amazing. Like, so what, okay, can we go through what records?
Well, I just want to ask, what is it about recording on your phone that you enjoy so much when you have the access to these other situations?
Yashoda, you're right. There were reports that she was communicating with friends and family till the end of July. However, I don't think any of the evidence floating around the internet has kind of proved that, right? I'm having a hard time believing that she was alive past January. There's a part in this interview where they ask him about relationships, like how does he write about it? They asked if he had a girlfriend, and then he said that the girl is no longer in his life, right? Which makes me feel like maybe something happened before his birthday, right?
Now,
I don't know. It's like a spiritual thing. I feel like my melodies are so much more unique when I'm by myself and engineering myself and throwing my own compressor on there, throwing my own EQ and knowing how I want my voice to sound and not having to say, oh, can you run that back? I'm gonna punch in here, I'm gonna punch in there. Like, when I have to talk to someone else while I'm making art, it's almost like it stops me from, it's like a part.
David is guilty. There's a lot of debate on that, on if she had her own phone or if maybe he provided her all of the phones that she may have had. And maybe potentially was in control of maybe some of the social media handles that she had. Again, speculation, theories, rumors. They were saying that one of her, I think it was Instagram accounts, the Yay Woohoo 7, was managed by somebody else after Celeste was no longer in the picture. And that person went by the name of Cassandra Rose. Now, again, we don't know too much about Cassandra Rose and her relationship or her connection to David. So we're not going to, blast her name out there. But this person, Cassandra Rose, has been seen, I believe she's been seen with the same Louis Vuitton purse. It was mentioned before that she was also posting videos on the Yay Woohoo 7 account, which is odd because if it did belong to Celeste, why would another girl be posting from it? I'd have to kind of put that stuff together in order to kind of show it. But there's just a lot. There's a lot of stuff that I've seen that the mass public hasn't seen yet, and it's really it's crazy because there's I'm not gonna say there's definitely more than one victim, right? And I'm not gonna say they're not deceased, but there's way more than just one person. Is all I can say, in my opinion. But that's a conversation I have, later on down the road. But yeah, I think it's just best to kind of wait and let LAPD do what they do. No, definitely. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of information that's really not out there, but I'm not really privy to release any of that information right now. Plus, some of the information I don't want to put stuff out there, while this investigation is really active. But I've seen some stuff and it's crazy. It's wild. Yashoda said, I still feel she was being held hostage somewhere for months against her will. And it's weird, right? Because we're aware that there are multiple properties. We know that there's the mansion house, right? So both properties are on Doheny Drive. There's the mansion house, and then they have the other Doheny place. And I think that's known as like the streaming house. So that's where the infamous live stream took place, where Celeste used the term, graping kids. And for some reason, TMZ, SF Investigates, maybe the LAPD, they have not acknowledged that second house. And I've always wondered why they haven't. Now there's talks, SF Investigates mentioned in his interview with Law and Crime with Jesse Weber. They did mention that she spent a lot of time in downtown LA. And I know people are still kind of looking into that to see where potentially this downtown LA property could have been. Now, did David have a third property that people weren't really aware of? That's kind of being looked into right now. But SF Investigates did mention that she spent a lot of time in downtown LA, but not specifically the Beverly Hills or the West Hollywood home, which was the 804 Doheny place.
Pause in my creative process. Like, I don't like to interrupt myself just to be like, oh, can you play that back real quick? Or I want to add this. I like to record and it's just me,
So you do your thing, and then what does Benny do to that record? Or
that's
that
all. His post production is insane. So we'll take like a scratch or a loop or just like a small built out beat. He'll take it. He'll give it to me. I'll record on it, and then everything else is just like placing instruments on top of that.
Is the record written before you're recording, or are you using?
It's all freestyle, man.
Really?
I don't have a notebook. Like I see most artists, like they have a notebook that they carry with them or a journal. Bro, I'll just be freestyling. I was in a green room just now making a song. If y'all want to hear it, I can play for you. But I was literally just in there, just freestyling. Made a whole song.
Wait, so like is it mumble or do you?
Jake, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. David is guilty. Thank you. I know it's late. All of you guys that are in here, you guys don't have to be here, but I do appreciate you guys hanging out. So Jake, maybe we can catch you in another live. Appreciate you hanging out, and we'll see you next time.
Straight lyrics, bro.
So we hear it?
You want to hear it? Say less. Say less. Which camera should I point this to? It's called What Did I Do? I'm gonna show you the.
Hold it to the mic.
I don't think we want to hear this.
What did I
do, bro?
Look how excited he is to perform this song.
I just be working, bro.
What the fuck?
I just be working, bro. I be working.
Wait, I feel understood by those lyrics.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So inspiration hit when you walked into the building, and or just like something popped in your
Bro,
head,
I was in a parking lot walking up, and I'm using the elevator, and I got sent a beat. Like every time I get sent a beat, it's just up, bro.
Mark, you're gonna be up.
So you get the beat, and you think what? Like, do you immediately have ideas? Do you listen to it more than once? Like,
like if I show you, all right, so I can literally pull a beat that I never listened to right now, and I can make a song right here.
Where do you think those lyrics have come from now listening back to it? Do you know?
I feel like this is some real, like, this is basically me talking to myself, because in the second verse I talk about like going on tour and stuff like that. Like, I'm moving out of state, going through some phases. Talked to my mother, father yesterday, like my family dynamic and stuff. I pull from my own life for inspiration too.
Yeah, but is it like an internal dialogue almost?
For sure. It's like the voice in my head. Like, if I have a situation I've gone through, I can repurpose that and act like it's somebody else. So some of my relationship songs is like me talking to me with, like, what's an example? Say It Back on the album. It's basically me not reciprocating self-love. And I'm kind of spoiling it. I wanted to say that, but like the Zach saying exclusive, that Say It Back is like me talking to myself and not reciprocating self-love and how I feel about my own feelings and understanding myself. And, it's like the internal introspective stuff,
That's. Do you realize what you're writing about when you're writing, or does it only happen?
It literally clicks like a day after. So I'll finish a song and I try to not listen to it after I'm finished and then wait a day so I can comprehend what I'm talking about. Yeah.
That's how you process.
Exactly. Fresh ears, they call it. Fresh ears.
By the way, this is going to come out after the album, so you can say,
I can say whatever I want. Hey,
Yeah.
say less. Say less.
This guy's so full of himself.
You just got more comfortable.
Yeah. Like, I thought I was older, like, so, did I just leak that?
Can we talk about like the interludes and like even the the
Yes.
verbal exchanges, because they really do punctuate the album, and like
And so the interludes, right? So some of the interludes that you may hear on Withered, some have come out and suggested that maybe Celeste has been on some of these interludes. I wish I could play them, right? But apparently David can't disclose for copyright purposes.
there's some exchanges between you and a female. Seems to be your love interest, right? What is that adding to the story?
It's a whole different layer of depth for an album. I feel like, especially for me, when I'm having dialogue now and things that add to the story, I'm talking about the invisible string theory, which is a common theme and one of the most the motifs for the project. I really wanted the listeners to feel like they're reading a book almost, and they get into a different chapter with every song. But there's also that kind of
Isn't he Chloe?
pause where they can take every song in by itself and then have this kind of visual landscape in this interlude to kind of be in my head, in my mindset, and why I
Excuse
wrote the
me, guys.
project like this and how everything went, just to like keep them even more interested and connected throughout the project for sure.
At the end of the interlude, correct me if I'm wrong here, she says, I love you. You don't
Cat's ear.
respond. She says, I love you again. It repeats itself and you don't respond. Was that done purposely?
Absolutely, because the next song after that is This Really Love?
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of like a lead into that kind of a transition type thing,
I believe the last time you were here, you didn't. Didn't you say you never experienced love or hadn't been in love? You didn't.
Yeah, and
believe so?
I didn't. I wasn't in a relationship then. Nah.
But today you are, or you
No,
are?
I've been through a couple. I'm single still right now, but I've been through a few, and they've taught me a lot of things.
You're listening to
and
this,
they've
right?
shown
You
me what
guys,
love
you guys hear this?
in a relationship then. Nah.
I believe the last time you were here, you didn't. Didn't you say you never experienced love or hadn't been in love? You didn't.
Yeah, and
believe so?
I didn't. I wasn't in a relationship then. Nah.
But today you are, or you
No,
are?
I've been through a couple. I'm single still right now, but I've been through a few, and they've taught me a lot of things, and they've shown me what love is and what love isn't, and how to approach it, and how to be human with it, and not be so artist, and not look for the things to write about in these types of situations. And I've kind of been more mature about it and getting emotionally intelligent with it. And with this interlude, it's kind of like telling my view.
Exactly, Cats. You're single in April? I feel like this interview is really telling, right? Yes, I hear it. I've never heard this much of it, right? This interview, I don't know. I just feel like we have to go back and we have to revisit some of these things because we kind of pick up on a lot of these things. And there's another interview out there, and I'll show you which one it is. It's this one right here. It's called The Breakdown by Mahogany. I don't know if you guys can tell, but David's wearing the same exact outfit, this pink sweater and the same pants. So I'm assuming that this interview was done on the same day, right? He just kind of changed up his look, took off his do-rag, put down his hood, and did the interview. So I don't know. Maybe it was like a media day where he just kind of went around and talked about the album.
on what the invisible string theory is, or the scarlet string, or the whatever. This is so many different names.
Is that
for
like
it.
that? Is it also connected to like the rope that's around?
Yes,
in the
in the
music
album
video?
cover, I'm covered in this string, which is representative of the invisible string theory. But throughout the entire project, I wanted everything to feel connected. I wanted everything to feel holistic and have a through line that everybody could understand. And with the interlude, it's kind of explaining from my perspective how it was taught to me, because that's a real conversation that happened. And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So it's like,
Okay, you
people
guys,
say
I
that
know
the
you guys
string
heard
can't
that,
be
right?
cut and the
It's a real conversation, and that person's not in his life anymore.
connection, I love you, was taught to me, because that's a real conversation that happened. And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So it's like, people say that the string can't be cut and the connection cannot be severed, but I feel like it can sometimes. And that's why I wanted to put, Afterlife and all these songs that feel like endings and conclusions and goodbyes on the project to kind of solidify that message of this is the end of something, not the beginning.
And can you break down the invisible string theory?
Yeah, so basically it's like this, it's a South Korean ideology where from birth we're connected to our soulmate. Can be a lover, friends, teachers, anybody. You're connected to them from birth, and you're led to them through the course of your life to meet them or, interact with them at some point and to help them, or they add something to your life. It's almost transactional, but it's like an emotional transaction. Like you're meant to help this person, or you're meant to learn something from this person. Like me and you could have a string. Me and you could have a string. Me and you have a string, So
Do you have
everybody,
many strings?
there's so many. Yes, you're connected to so many different people. Yeah.
Interesting.
And that connection can either be severed or not severed, depending on who you ask, because there's also the Japanese version where the Scarlet theory, where if you build up too much bad karma, that can be severed, or if you do somebody wrong, that connection is severed and it's non-repairable. So there's different versions of this, but
And yes, you guys, if you guys notice, I did just become a member of my own channel. It's so weird. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, don't sign up for the memberships, because for some reason right now the membership tiers are not what I set them to. So it's a little off. And I don't know if you guys can see it on your end, but they're actually a lot higher than I actually set them to be. So if you guys are planning to become a member, feel free to join. It's not something that you guys have to do. Obviously, I'd appreciate it if you guys ever did. But I do have to look into it, because the tier settings that I did set. Mark. Thank you for joining the inner circle. I appreciate you. We do have a few emojis that I try to make. So these are opening the case. There's 4 tiers that I have, and I'll probably talk about it, another time when I'm able to kind of get everything set up. But I think I'm going to be calling the community the inner circle, and I have an emoji right there. So if you guys want to join the inner circle, please feel free to. No pressure at all. But anyways, any of you guys who are hanging out, 31 of you guys in the chat, it's crazy. It's 2:30 in the morning here in LA, and yeah, you guys are here hanging out. Appreciate you
I
guys.
view it as we're all connected through a universal emotion called love. And that's why my album is mostly dealing with the theme of love and that connection.
The red thread, or the red rope, it is in both. It's in the Crashing video and What Are You Waiting For, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will it be in any other videos?
It will. That's kind of, I want to keep having the theme show up visually. That's a big thing for me, especially with a Tommy and my alter ego, keeping
Here we
these
go with
concepts
the
and things alive and very visual.
Cindy.
And easy to understand for the fans, 'cause once they hear the album and they hear Invisible String Theory,
Thank
it's
you
all gonna
for
connect.
joining
Right
the
now,
inner
I'm just
circle.
making
Welcome to the inner
interludes and
circle
spinning
and opening the
like,
case.
to the fans at the shows and stuff like that. But once they hear this
Chloe.
interlude and hear the project, it all kind of connects, and it's kind of gonna click for everybody at the same time. And I'm so excited.
Y'all are crazy. I told y'all not to join the memberships because, man, y'all are crazy. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Chloe, for joining the inner circle. Welcome to the inner circle, you guys.
Excited to see what that kind of looks like in real time.
Can you couple things? Can you explain your relationship?
I know, right? Cat's ear. We got some rebels in the house.
Culture, because you are building like a 360 world here, and there is like this character that's blindfolded. Itami?
Yeah.
Aren't there 4 characters in all that you're building out?
I'm working on that. I don't want to retcon anything because it's super ambitious, but I definitely want to continue to build out that world and keep the landscape going, especially with the future
Chloe,
albums as
you
well,
wild.
introducing new characters and new alter egos and stuff like that. Yeah.
So is Itami attached to this album? And that's Japanese for pain.
Absolutely, yeah. Itami is the villain of this album. He's the one that is making me withered and feel all these emotions like grief and pain and confusion. He's the one that is weaving his way into my relationships and ruining them and inducing trauma and things.
Do you guys hear that part right there? That's a part that I missed. I didn't hear this part.
The villain of this album. He's the one as well, introducing new characters and new alter egos and stuff like that. Yeah.
So is Itami attached to this album? And that's Japanese for pain.
Absolutely, yeah. Itami is the villain of this album. He's the one that is making me withered and feel all these emotions like grief and pain and confusion. He's the one that is weaving his way into my relationships and ruining them and inducing trauma and things like that. You see him in the music videos and stuff. So he's basically the agent of chaos in this scenario. Yeah.
The agent of chaos. And I wonder if, Itami was the person who committed the crime, and if David is going to be the one to solve it, right? He's under the impression, he mentions it multiple times, that Itami is the one who goes and commits the crime, and he has to solve them. So I'm curious how he's going to solve his way out of this case.
Korean and Japanese people are so cool.
They're so cool, dude.
They're so like way cooler than I could ever strive for.
Literally, dude.
No, it's really crazy. And that's like in the way they look at things and the way they explain things. And
it's so deep. Like every single sentence is like poetry.
Yes.
So crazy.
Yeah, the invisible string theory, that's so interesting.
Right?
Like I've heard it referenced, but I never really understood what it meant until right now. It's different. Interesting. What are you thinking over there?
Well, so now that we're at a debut album, I just want to know how like you viewed this compared to like Romantic Homicide. Like, are you still using the Alvin and the Chipmunk things to kind of test it out? Do you still like think about Fortnite when you're making this music and montages to go with it?
Bro, I'm still that kid in the closet. 3 years ago, bro. I dropped a Fortnite montage to What Are You Waiting For the other day, bro. I'm keeping it alive. I'm keeping my interest alive, keeping the anime stuff going. I don't tease songs as Alvin and the Chipmunks anymore just because, there's the higher ups will get mad for not, being an artist.
The higher ups.
With it, But I definitely still engage in the same kind of manner I did, and I don't change myself for a thing. So I'm still interacting the same way, still making jokes and still doing the memes and Fortnite videos, but I'm also keeping a nice level-headed and mature and grounded take on it too, and making sure people know what the songs are about. I never want to have a song that is without a meaning and without a purpose. Especially for my audience and the people that love my music and is helping them in their daily lives. I want them to still be able to connect to a song or an album or a project or even a snippet with the view of, oh, this is going to be a really good song. And it's not just the sound on TikTok. It's not just this. It's not just that. But they're actually involved and interested in how the songs are made and written and how they sound when they come out. So.
Was it hard for you to open up this process to Benny Blanco and Ryan Tedder? And even though that's so cool, but like it is also something that was just you in a closet.
Benny and Ryan got it almost instantly. There was some people I met a couple years ago that I had to explain it to, and it was not like, you were like, oh, but there's a $5,000 Neumann mic right there. You have to use it. And I was like, bro, I don't want to. But like Ryan and Benny, they connected with it instantly, and they knew how to work with me and understood the workflow. It was super synergistic. Yeah.
It's really special. Really, really special. Both songs, Sky and Ghost, you can hear a bunch of different influences there.
I'm glad you noticed that.
Oh, dude, you're hearing a little bit of the Smiths.
Mm-hmm.
Get some Jeff Buckley energy.
Yes, sir.
I also get a Chicken Little reference.
Yes.
Yeah. It's great.
Afterlife, you got a little bit of Tom York. A little bit of Radiohead.
What's fueling those musical influences? Who's prompting the music in your life? Where's it coming from? How are you
literally discovering things by myself? Like, I don't get sent too much music.
You're just on the internet?
So crazy. Yeah, bro, my screen time is crazy. My screen time's so crazy. I'll just be on SoundCloud just looking for like old demos and stuff, like Jeff Buckley demos, unreleased stuff, Radiohead's unreleased projects, things that didn't make albums. I'm just looking for the oddballs and the outliers of popular artist music, because I feel like when I'm making my own music and there's stuff that doesn't make the album, is low-key your best work. So I try to find the best work of these mythical artists like Jeff or like a Tom York or like Radiohead or like a Nirvana, and I'm trying to find those bits and pieces of unfinished work and things that could have been great but weren't because they weren't released. And I just love getting inspired by the unfinished, so I have an idea of where to go for my own music. So
Interesting. So, like, what are you taking from that? Or is it your job to finish it? Is it just inspiration for you to start something that new?
it's interesting because when I hear that, I don't want to, I don't have a crown to pick up and like a baton to be passed with that. I want to pay homage to these artists, in which I do on Sky and I do on Ghost with the Smiths, and I want to make sure that people know where this stuff is coming from. But I want to actually make it new and fresh. Like I don't have anything to prove. I don't want to be the next, the next this, the next that. I want to be David, but I want to, be a conduit for the things I'm inspired by and keep these sounds alive that are almost being forgotten, like the bedroom pop genre and things like that is all slowly fading away for, the TikTok of music. So kind of just like trying to keep the fuel going for that.
Is that real? I mean, well, also kind of ironic, right? Because TikTok is what would end up like helping change at least the exposure of your music.
Yeah, but it's like with the genre itself, nobody's really making stuff like that anymore, And I don't want it to get lost in the history books, you know?
Why? Well, where's bedroom pop going? Isn't it the most obtainable way to make music?
Kind of, but it's such a broad spectrum. Like nobody's making like a bags. No one's making a Claro bags right now. No one's making like no one's making 3 Nights by Dom. Like nobody's doing that right now.
There's a part
It's dying.
in this
Literally
interview.
dying.
Where is it at?
Why won't we ever hear your song with Dom?
This was the part.
Oh man, that's up to him. That's up to him, bro. I need him to clear it. I just need him to clear it. But Dom is the go.
So what are you guys' thoughts? What do you guys think about this interview? Do you think this interview is telling? Because I feel like he's really talking to us, or at least Zach Singh, and he's really telling him what's going on with his life and what this album means to him and how much he's living this actual album, right? Let me pull up. I want to see Withered track list. So if we take a look here, let me just open this image in a new tab really quick. So we can see this song, and I think Cindy, you mentioned this song earlier. This song, the LOVEU with Hannah Bang. So we have Favorite, we have Issues, Take the Photo, How Do You Sleep, You Still Love Me, Best Friend, Realist K, I'm Good, Always Love, 11 p.m. I wonder why there's a song called 11 p.m. What does that say? Summer Don't End, Talking to Myself, Affirmation, LOVEU, Glue and Frontline. Are these the songs on his Withered album? Why does this not make sense? Let's see if this is the same thing here. I can't really see this. Yeah, let's see. Sleep well here with me. No. Maybe I'm tripping. Cindy said, I think it's interesting. Hindsight is 2020. Absolutely. We're listening with different ears, knowing what we know, in my humble opinion. And I think it's telling and wise to re-review any old interviews. And I think that's what I'm going to do, in some of the next lives that I do, is really kind of deep dive into the interviews that he's done in the past. I want to take a look at some of the Nancy Grace stuff. And Ashley Banfield just has a really great way of like storytelling. So I want to go back and listen to some of the things that she said, because she has some really good points. Katsier said, have you seen that guy in Strategics chat asking them to look at the emails about hidden images and albums? Katsier, yeah, absolutely. I know exactly who you're talking about. You're talking about Master Death Hancock. Yeah, that supporters actually sent myself and Mark the Shark a few emails. And he's very, very adamant. I'm surprised he's not in here. Unless he's in here just watching, but he's normally active in the chats. yeah, no, he's sent a lot of stuff over, and let's see. He's gonna be so pissed off if I'm talking about this now, and he's not here. Now that you're big and monetized, are you considering other high-profile cases to follow? Actually, yeah, no, absolutely. One of the ones that I wanted to talk about was, um, what case is it? The Camila Mendoza Olmos case. That one, that one I kind of want to look into. I saw that there was a video that came out today on Madeline Soto, so I want to talk. I want to kind of react to that too. Um, I was watching it this morning, and I hadn't really like followed that case so closely. And when I was watching it today, it just kind of blew my mind. I watched it. I'm gonna admit I was late for work today because I was just so drawn to this episode. And yeah, so maybe hopefully tomorrow we can kind of react to that too. Um let's see. Oh, so the guy who had unalived a 14-year-old child in his trunk is keeping things level-headed and mature. That would almost be laughable if it weren't so incredibly horribly sick and demented. 100%. 100%. It's crazy, right? This guy has I don't know. I don't know. This guy has a lot going on with himself. And it's only going to be a matter of time that, Beth Silverman and whoever is going after this guy, they're going to really nail this guy and whoever these three people are, right? So did I see anything? It's hard, right? I can see the things that everybody's been talking about, right? So if you see this area right here, they're saying that you can see that her arm is slightly severed from one end, and it's, excuse me, it's really hard because I don't know if it's just reaching or if it's just, the way this image was drawn out. Could it be something? I know they were saying that, and I think this one was a reach, right? They were saying that somewhere in here you can see that it's written out that it says 764. That I totally don't see. This area right here, you can see this person's arm or the hand is cut off. Karen Reed, before her civil trial starts, happy to catch you up on this case history. Oh, absolutely. I'm very, very new to this this crime niche, and I've just kind of fallen in love, and I've been so interested in it. And there's a ton of creators out there that are putting together, really great content. Some of you guys in the chat follow some other people too, and there's a high chance that I'm probably following them too. Karen Reed's lawyer is representing Nick Reiner, right? Oh, is that so? The one case that I want to kind of circle back around to is the Breonna Aguilera case and see what's going on with that, because I know Tony Busby's on that case representing the family. That was the case where there was the accidental, well, the suicide is what the Austin PD is calling it. The suicide where Breonna Aguilera jumped off the 17th floor apartment building. The mom, doesn't believe that story. So I kind of want to circle back around because I haven't heard anything in the past 2 weeks. That looks like a digital eraser mark on the shoulder. This part right here, yeah, right? So it's kind of hard. Let me see if there's a way that I can pull up Diddy. Diddy is endlessly fascinating and great for clicks. Yeah, it definitely is. I don't know if I want to cover it though. I feel like everybody else has done such an amazing job covering this, and I just kind of sat in the backseat and kind of watched it all take place. And then you have that the Netflix doc that came out, and exposing Diddy all sides of the story, which is crazy. Would love to chat on any high profile cases with you, Flo. It's going to be wild. Oh, Absolutely. I'm totally down. And obviously, I have a different program to use, and I'm going to be opening up like a live panel. Probably have some people just kind of come onto the show, join. Right now, I'm currently using OBS, which is just kind of like a free range platform where you can kind of customize your live stream. But I also have like StreamYard and Restream that I can use to do like, like a live panel, have a discussion. Want to bring some people on, so I think that'll be something cool. There's a lot of cool people that can share and Clo and Flow. Yeah, we should definitely do a live. I'd love to pick your brain on a lot of these cases. So we'll have to we'll have to set something up because I want to have it like really structured, where we can just kind of go back and forth and have a really good conversation about this stuff. Because Chloe, I know you have a wealth of knowledge to share, especially with your background. So I'm just kind of fascinated with what you can share with the audience. Rotten Mango was on it. They shut her down. Oh no way. Did they? Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Yeah, I think the only person I know Tisa Tells was in that documentary too. Well, she made it to the documentary, so I know that she was covering the case. But this case specifically for Celeste Rivas Hernandez, I think what really draw me into this case is obviously because I'm from LA, right? I grew up with not a music background, but I grew up really into music as an artist. I used to make music myself back in the days. Um, and the fact that this happened right here in Hollywood, some of the stories that have come up where some of the stuff has happened here at the Millard Canyon Falls right here in Altadena or the Angeles National Forest, that's literally 2 miles away from me, 2 miles up the street. Lake Elsinore, where Celeste Rivas Hernandez lived, is literally like a 10-minute drive from my parents' house. I was able to go visit it this past weekend. Excuse me. I'm burping. But yeah, I went to go visit her memorial. Friday, it was raining crazy. It was super heavy with the rain. Came back the next day on Saturday, dropped off flowers, dropped off a card. Wrote Celeste a card for myself and the Shark fam. Yeah, and then we left her, a set of roses or some flowers. Sorry, not roses, but we left her a bouquet of flowers, and yeah, it was just really nice. Oh, definitely. Definitely. And for any of you guys who are in this chat that are still watching, um, you know, Mark the Shark that's in here also covers this case. He's literally boots on the ground and he's literally right there, visiting every single spot that you've seen come up in this case. So I'm gonna go drop his let me drop his channel really quick. Mark normally does lives for 12 hours. So if you ever want to check out a marathon stream, Mark the Shark is shares some really good content. What time is it? 2:52. I think I got about 8 minutes left. Really didn't mean to come on here for that long. No, we do. Mark, you did the same for me, man. So you helped me grow too. You shouted me out all the time on your channel. So I gotta pay it forward. But yeah, Mark covers a lot of stuff on this case. Boots on the ground. So check him out. Yeah, Marky Sharky is fire, everyone. He introduced he introduced me and Chloe. So actually a lot of people that are in here are also from the Shark fam too. So, I gotta shout out the Shark fam too, because I'm part of the Shark fam. Always, always, always. Stoic is in the house. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys see anything in this photo right here? I mean, I feel like this is, maybe there's something to it. Maybe it's a reach. Somebody sent me a photo before that here in the bushes that they could see the word sad. Now when they drew it out in like red marker or like red ink, and I mean, at the time when I was looking at it, I could definitely see it, but now that I'm looking at it without the writing, it's kind of hard to see. Her face in the water. Hold on, let me open up a new tab. I'm gonna look at my emails to see, because he has shared. Let me look. Okay, let me see. Celeste cartoon character on withered CD cover. You see the 10, it's not over the hand reaching for her heart to rip it out. And you know what, user, thank you for bringing that up. A lot of people have actually mentioned the numerology importance of this case. Unfortunately, I'm not knowledged in numerology, but if you are, please share, because I think it's really important to kind of, inspect every aspect of this. Yeah, if anybody here is knowledgeable in numerology, I know our good friend Gold Digger is into numerology. and she's kind of shared a few things, but I'm not too familiar with it. I don't know anything about it, but please help me out. Put me in the know. I'm looking at the email that he sent me. He sent me a few, actually. Okay, there's a face there turned into a little kid's face with hair in the eyes. Now, some of this stuff was kind of hard to understand what he was referencing. Also, I mean, I don't want to... Hold on. No, if I show this, it'll dox his email address, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so he's saying that there are letters in the hair, the word Killa, and Baal, Baal, in the hair to make it look like bones. There's a demon face on it, on the side on the left side and right side of his hair. There's a girl or person waving high. Yeah, I don't. It's hard. It's hard to tell. Wait, where is this? Okay, so this is the face next to the cut spraying. It's a little hard to understand. Okay, hold on. Let me turn off the chat. Hold on. Let me move this. Hold on. I don't want to. Hold on 1 second. Let me just take this out. Okay, so it's. I'll be honest with you. The email that he sent me, it's a little hard to read. I'm trying to understand like the stuff that he's explaining here, but for me, some of it is not making sense. Master Death, and if you're in the chat, I don't want you to think that I never read your emails. I'm reading it now, and you're not here. He says, in what part is this? Trying to find the part of. He said that there's a demon coming out of the neck and a demon face next to that inside the jacket. Yeah, Cindy, I think, it depends on, how you look at it and what you interpret it as. So, I mean, it could mean something, could be nothing. I am so much not looking at the details inside of the art. I think it's just the whole art in general. Right now, one thing that I will say is that I did not notice that this whole album had a parental advisory, explicit content warning. I didn't realize that David made explicit music, which is weird, right? Because it's a little different. But I think overall, what we should take away from this is who is in the image, right? We have potentially maybe one, two females, maybe potentially a male. Maybe it's three females, or maybe it's two females and one male in the front. It's hard, right? Because they're I mean, you can tell this is assuming this is a female because this person's wearing a skirt, but these two are kind of ambiguous. Can't really tell what they are, right? If they're male or females. I think it's Mark Devlin. Maybe all a bit dark for a growing channel. Ah, okay. Well, I mean, I'll definitely look into it. Yeah, it's crazy. That post on Reddit that talks about like the whole Santa Barbara trip, and the trip in the Angeles National Forest, the mountains, it's a little crazy. I'm curious because TMZ specifically mentioned on that trip to Santa Barbara that David was accompanied by somebody, and that person they believe is responsible, you know, or participated before, during, and after the death of Celeste Rivas. So before, what does that mean? Were they involved in potentially arguing, fighting with her? Um, did they help kill her? And then afterwards, did they help dismember her? So those are some of the things that, I wish we had clarification on because we don't. Now we're just kind of left to kind of assume what we're working with. And, that kind of sucks, but if that's the way the information is going to be presented to us, I mean, we have nothing else but to speculate, right? And I'm not here to just, I mean, we like to deep dive here and kind of understand what we're looking at, but I'm not going to go out there and say like, oh, this is what it is for sure, right? But it is weird, right? We know that David does hang out with a very specific group, Neo, Asia, maybe Sakura, maybe Vanessa, but we do know for sure that, Neo was there, Asia was in the picture, and there's somebody else. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Who else is in that picture? There's Vanessa, there's Asia. Oh, maybe the other Celeste, right? Celeste Herrera. We don't know if she's we don't know if any of these people are her. But yeah, I think it's weird. I don't know if this was some people have said that this was taken in Malibu. But Mark, were you able to identify this specific location if this was actually in Santa Barbara? I don't know if we have. CC was the older Celeste, right? That's what her name was when both of them were around. What else? Yeah, I really want to do these deep dives, but I have to wait. Got some really good stuff to show you guys, but I have to confirm 100% with my sources before I get this out, because I promise it's gonna shock you guys. Yeah. That one white girl who people thought might be the one ignoring her subpoena. I can't remember her name. So there's a few names that kind of come up, right? As the female who may have ignored her request to testify in the grand jury. And those names haven't been confirmed, but there's two names that have come up over and over and over again. And that is Lane Cooperstein, who is the manager of Darkroom. And then they have who's the other girl? Lace. What's her name? Lane Cooperstein and Bella Bowman. Bella Bowman is the other one. So let's do a quick touch on that. They have Lane Cooperstein. So this is Lane Cooperstein right over here. And if we go to her LinkedIn, I clearly don't check my LinkedIn at all. She's a general manager for Darkroom. She's been with them from July 2019 to present day, so 6 years, so 6.5 months, right? Yeah, right. I 100. Why would you ignore your subpoena to testify in court? It doesn't make any sense, right? But what does make sense is why she would be scared. Well, maybe because they have such a close connection to Celeste, right? Let's see if we can find this post. Let's go to Reddit. Let's go into Ginny the Ween. Where is it? Let's go to this one. No, not Josh. Is it Josh? Or is it this one? No, this is Kiara. Trying to see the Fonda. Let's search up the Fonda. Is this by Ginny? What? Catsier, you got subpoenaed? Landlord is 70 and dates 20-year-olds. Ugh. How did that go? So here's a Reddit post. They talk about the Fonda, right? So questions about David Fonda theater shows plus backstage video. So here is this is an on-stage view of, I'm assuming, the crowd, right? You have the curtains right over here. Here you have a photo of the photo booth that was taken by the company The Hive photo booth. This was the 3 nights in LA at the Fonda. People be wild. Mark said, I got offended. But so here we see we got Rob Morgenroth. We have Caleb, the brother. We have Lane Cooperstein. This would be the sister. Obviously, her face is blocked out because she's a minor. This, not entirely sure who this is. Don't know these two in the back. We have David, obviously. We have the manager, Josh Marshall. We have David's mom, Colleen. And I believe this is... Don't know who this is. I think this might be the CEO of Darkroom. Can't remember his name. He's either the CEO of Darkroom or he's the brother of Rob Morgenroth, who is also the guitarist for David. Here we have photos of the mom. We have the sister. We have somebody who's in a hoodie. And let me see if we can just kind of zoom in a bit, right? We have the mom. We have the sister, little sister. We have someone in a hoodie. And then we have who is said to be Caleb. That's David's brother. This person right here is believed to be Celeste Rivas Hernandez. This is the little sister and then the mom. And then I think over here on this side, if the photo wasn't cut off, I believe this photo over here was Josh Marshall. This is another photo of Celeste backstage. And right, it's really weird, right? Like, who took this video, right? Because whoever took this video captured her going backstage. She felt the need to look back and stare at the camera and then continued to walk in. Sorry, anytime a Reddit thread pops up, I'm like reading it. So that's Celeste right there. Is that it? That's it. That's the only photo. who has the thread of the backstage at the Fonda? There's like another one. Maybe it's under this one. Fonda. Maybe it's this one. So again, we have the mother, the father, David, Josh Marshall, Caleb, Lane Cooperstein. And apparently Lane Cooperstein and Rob Morgan-Roth have been seen getting close together. Maybe we'll see one in another Hive photo booth photo. This, I think everybody's named in another photo. So Josh Lubliner is the CEO of Darkroom Records, which is this gentleman right over here. This is the guitarist who is Rob Morgan-Roth's brother. This person right over here. So Rob Morgan-Roth, both of them are with Mogul Vision, which is David's record label. Lane Cooperstein, who is also the general manager for Darkroom. Then we have David, the dad Dawood, mom Colleen, brother Caleb, and then Rob's brother, the guitarist. So here we're starting to see a few more of the Hive photos. And it's really weird, right? Because this is the same exact show that Celeste was at. But where is she? She's nowhere to be found, right? At least in any of these Hive photo booth photos that you see, she is nowhere to be found. But if you go over one more photo, she's right over here in the corner, right? So you guys can see that she's right there. Now, the original photo, if I'm not mistaken, this photo where she's at, the original one that was posted, it was very, very, very dark. So you could barely see her. So whoever enhanced this image did a really good job. And you can really tell that that's her. But what's funny, right, is that you can see somebody right over here, somebody right behind David's leg. Then you see this person right here. And I believe this person is either Lane Cooperstein or Bella Bowman. Really weird. Here's Rob Morgan-Roth right here. This is just another close-up image of this previous one right here. Right? And again, posted by Remy the God, because Remy's been doing a crazy deep dive on this. You sent them to me on Discord. You know what? It's crazy because I have my Discord open on my left monitor, but for some reason it's like completely frozen. I can't. Oh, here it is. Okay, now it wants to work. Hold on. Let's see if I can open it up. Oh yeah, there's the original one. Let me see if I can save it. Celeste Fonda. Okay. It's really weird. My computer wasn't working earlier. There it goes again. All right. It's done. It's stuck. That's so weird. Sorry about that, you guys. That one where they say she has a red hair. So that one was the one that we previously saw. Where she was going backstage with the brother. I guess all the other people that are in this photo that aren't highlighted, except for this person right here, because I think this is Bella Bowman. This one's also part of the record label. She's not listed on here. So the Hive photos. Is this? No, this isn't Rob. That's Rob right there. All right. Cindy, it's 6:12. Oh my God. Well, thank you for hanging out. I know it's probably late. But I hope you have a good rest of your morning and hopefully you get some rest. And thank you for your $10 super chat today. Thank you, Cindy. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining. So yeah, what did you say, Mark? Good eye. that Remy has loads of info. You know, I mean, I just feel like Remy's just, you know, digging deep into it and just has a wealth of knowledge about just random stuff, right? A lot of the stuff that Remy's put out has been pretty eye-opening for a lot of the people. Yeah, I can't even access my emojis. That's crazy. All right, let's see. Who else do we have? That is Celeste. And then you can see there's somebody right here. Either Bella Bowman or Lane. Another close-up. Oh yeah, Lane Kuberstein and Rob Morganroth. And it's crazy because to the right, we know for sure that Celeste is hiding. Here it is. That's another image of Celeste in her pink pants, her black hoodie with the red hair, with Caleb walking backstage. Can anyone tell me if the girl in pink pants is Celeste? We do know that for sure is now been confirmed as Celeste Rivas. So it's crazy, right? Because in the photo where she was sitting on the balcony in the front row, it's crazy that, you know, somebody who's, first of all, if I had somebody, let's say if I was the mother, right, and I was sitting at the balcony, front row, next to me was my daughter, next to my daughter was a random girl, and then next to that random girl was my son, Caleb, like, I would kind of feel some type of way. Like, who's this random person sitting in between my kids, right? Unless I knew who that person was, then it just wouldn't be weird, right? Then it would just be like my son's looking out for the girl and, you know, in between the family, which would be fine, right? If the mother had already known. So it's kind of weird. Let me see if is that photo in the same one. No, it was in that previous post that we looked at. Here's a better photo. Right here, right? So mom, sister, Celeste, brother. If I didn't know who this person was, right? And I was a mom, I'd be like, who the hell is this girl sitting in between my two children? But it's weird because you kind of ask yourself, like, well, she's got to know. She's got to know who she is. You see Celeste where it says she's wearing the black hoodie with the pink leggings, right? Celeste is up here. Celeste is right here. Josh is literally a few seats away. Crazy. Josh. And the reason why this post went out was because Josh mentioned that he had no clue who that person was or who Celeste was, right? But these photos kind of show us otherwise. He's literally laughing, right? Big old smile on his face. Kind of looks like everybody, right? Everybody on that side kind of looked at the photo. This person's looking over. This person's cheesing. He definitely is. Cheese. And that looked like when you get caught doing something, you just turn away. Deb said she knew damn well who that was. The mom? I mean, I have to agree. Yeah, I have to agree she knew who that was. She has kids too, so she has to know what a 14-year-old looks like. Yeah, maybe she didn't care. I don't know. I don't know the mom. You know, but you want... Can you guys give the mom the benefit of the doubt or the parents the benefit of the doubt? You know, do you guys believe that they had absolutely no idea? I want to know what you guys think in the comments. Right? Totally fits in, right? Young children. There's absolutely no way that you can tell me that she was 19. Now, I will say that there is one photo that I've seen where maybe she could have passed off as a 19-year-old. Only one photo that I've ever seen. And to me, in my opinion, it's this photo of her right here. Now, you can argue with me, that she still looks young, and which I do agree she still looks young, but this would be the only photo that I've ever seen where she could potentially pass off as somebody not 14, right? The septum piercing. Now there's speculation if that little mark on her eye or under her eye is a tattoo, or if it's just a piece of hair. But to me, in my opinion, this is the only photo where she may look a little bit older than she says she is. It was also speculated earlier that it could have been Josh's daughter. That's true. It's really weird too is that Josh has a daughter that's 14 years old. So it says here, thanks to the work of RIA and the keen forensic analysis of similar computer users' previous update, we can now say with certainty exactly where Celeste and David were located when photographed on D4VD on the night of. What's crazy too is right now it is December 30th, right? This very moment right now is December 30th. So this is a photo of Celeste from exactly a year ago to the day. Native girl, welcome. What did you miss? Nothing really. We're just kind of going over a few things. Some of the things that, you probably already know of from earlier today. But welcome, Native girl. Isn't it crazy though? You guys, look at this photo. This photo right here is a photo of Celeste Rivas Hernandez from exactly a year ago today. That's pretty sad. Holy crap, tomorrow's New Year's Eve? Wow. Where the heck did this week go? It's only Monday. What do you guys think, you guys? What do you guys think? A year ago today. Pretty trippy, right? We're going to watch this video and then we're going to call it a night, y'all. I got to wake up in 4 hours and go to work. Mark has also been out in this area too. He's been boots on the ground. So you guys should go to his page, check out the video that he posted. And I think, Mark, you went over this this location today, right? You kind of covered this a little bit today. So go to Mark's channel, check out the live that he did. He kind of covered this spot, this area, either today or yesterday. It's been a while. But yeah, this area was in downtown LA on Figueroa Street. And then if you guys want to know a little bit more about like Figueroa Street and some of my theories, you can check out my last live where I talk about Figueroa Street and the importance or the connection that I made between this blade and the Figueroa. Yeah. Dub said, Flo, I'm gonna need you to stream another hour for my drive home. Bro, I don't know if I have another hour in me. Honestly, wasn't even gonna do it. This was really supposed to be a test. So for those of you guys who hung out for 2 hours and 15 minutes, I do appreciate it. And yes, Chloe, thank you. We did celebrate our monetization on YouTube today, so woohoo! You spoke too soon. Yeah, Dubs. Native girl, thank you. I appreciate it. Anyways, you guys, that's going to be it for me tonight. I do have to get a little bit of rest so I can be recharged for tomorrow, because I don't know if my work's going to send me out to go see a patient. So if I do, I got to make sure that I have energy. But again, all of you guys that came in and hung out on this test live, I really appreciate it, you guys. You guys have no idea what it means to kind of reach this milestone, a milestone that I really thought was just kind of impossible. But thanks to you guys, the viewers, the supporters, the Shark fam, all of you guys who kind of tune in and just support, you know, a guy just wanting to talk and hang out. And you know, one of the things that we all share together is the need, the want to get justice for Celeste, right? And if we can have the opportunity to kind of sit together and have this discussion, find these things, you know, and hopefully one day get closure. And, you know, for the family, right? Because Celeste deserves it. You know, we know that there was somebody or some people out there, right, that had no regard for her life, took advantage of her and left her to die. And you know, all we want is justice for her. So our hope is that, you know, we're gonna get that soon. But again, all of you guys that came by, native girl, thank you for joining the inner circle and opening the case. So I appreciate you. Whitney, thank you for your $1 super sticker. God, I gotta learn how to say this stuff, Mark. I don't know how you do it. Cindy for your $10 super chat. Mark for your what? Hold on, let me get out of this. Your $5 super chat. Sasha Bubbles for your 20-pound donation. Flojo became a member today. Mark, Cindy, Chloe, and Native Girl joined the inner circle, so I appreciate you guys. Stoic, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Chloe, we got to set something up. Definitely want to pick your brain about a few cases and learn about some of the ones that you've covered too. So, where's Katsier? Thanks for hanging out tonight. I know that we kind of had a back and forth in the comments about checking out some of the lives, so I do appreciate you tuning in. Stoic, thank you. Dubs, who else is in here? Who else is in here? Native Girl, we got Mark. I saw Remy, but Mark just put that in the chat. Cindy from sunny South Florida, and everybody else who hung out earlier. That's gonna be it for me, you guys. I will see you guys later. Is that how we do it? Yeah, we'll see you guys later, guys.